This brief podcast is designed to introduce you to two different types of ethics. The two different types of ethics that people normally study are known as normative ethics and non-normative ethics. Normative ethics is the form of ethics that people most frequently engage in. It, after all, asks the questions, what are the norms for the evaluation of conduct should we accept, and why should we accept them? This is also known as prescriptive ethics because, after all, it does prescribe a way of acting. It asks, what are the guidelines, what are the rules, what are the ways that we should act, and what are the things that we ought not to do? This branches into practical or applied ethics because it has very practical significance. It actually affects the way people act, what people do and what they do not do. And so what we typically do when we are practicing normative ethics is we try to use various theories. So as an example, beginning this week, you'll notice that we are actually covering different ethical theories, and we try to use those theories as a basis for arguing and as a basis for kind of breaking down or analyzing a particular moral issue. The other form of ethics, which people frequently kind of confuse or they have a hard time wrapping their minds around, are known as non-normative ethics. And there are actually two different types of non-normative ethics. First of all, there is descriptive ethics. That is simply a factual investigation of conduct. So fields such as anthropology, sociology, psychology, what historians often do is they will try to get at what did people or what have people or what do people actually believe to be right and wrong. It does not say whether it is right and wrong. It does not say whether this particular norm should be accepted. All it does is it looks at, let's say, some anthropological research and says, okay, this is what people have accepted. It tends to look at what's practiced in professional practices, in the codes, in institutional mission statements, rules, public policies, but it really does not make a value judgment on those. Now, the other type is known as meta-ethics, and meta-ethics analyzes the language, the concepts, and the ways that people reason, the methods of reasoning that people utilize to arrive at an ethical conclusion. Once again, it is not making a value judgment. It is not saying you should or we should or they should do this, that, or the other. It does not do that. What it simply does is say, what does it mean when you use this word? So, as an example, if you said it is unjust to deny treatment or care to someone who is ill in an emergency situation, if you say that it is unjust to do that, you're using some important words there. You're saying, first of all, it is unjust. Well, meta-ethics would ask, what do you mean by justice? What are the principles that guide people's thinking around justice issues? It might even go further and say, okay, so you're making a moral claim. What are some other words that we need to clarify in that? I would suggest that non-normative ethics are very important before we even get into normative ethics. That the relationship between non-normative versus normative forms of ethics is extremely important, because it's important that we first of all ask questions, that we ask questions about what do people mean when they're using a particular term, what have people done, what have been the outcomes to what people have done, and before we make any value judgment, if we engage in this form of investigation, we might actually be assisted in then doing the normative form of ethics. So these are the different forms of ethics that we use in this course. Again, people I think automatically jump to normative ethics. We want to know what is the rule of acting that people should accept. However, please keep in mind that non-normative ethics are important as well. That before making a value judgment, let's ask the questions about what are the terms used? Are we using them precisely? What are the methods that people are using to arrive at moral justification? Are they using good facts? Are they building strong logical arguments? Are they being consistent in how they are applying their particular ethical code?